but you wouldn't recognize the place. There's so much construction, the parking lots have expanded, there's so many airlines coming and going on there, it's become a real jumping off point for people traveling pretty much anywhere in the world. You can start in Santa Rosa. So he will be our speaker next month. For today, we are honored to have as our speaker Greg Anderson, who is the new general manager of the Bennett Valley Golf Course and the soon-to-be-open Bennett Valley Grille. Most of you may recall there was a lot of controversy a while back where the City of Santa Rosa wanted to close the golf course, build high-density housing out there, shut down part of Galvin Park, put some retail stores in there. Well, a group of citizens didn't stand for that, formed a committee, got the city to back off. The city then put out requests for proposals for a manager to manage the golf course and the restaurant. Fortunately for us, Touchstone Golf Manager was selected, and even better for us, Greg Anderson was appointed as the general manager for the course and the restaurant. Greg is a lifelong member, a resident of Santa Rosa. He started his golf career at 7 years old when he was caddying at the old Wickiup golf course in Santa Rosa, and his parents owned the Wickiup Racket and Tennis Club right across the street. So after Greg graduated from Cardinal Newman High School, he played golf at Santa Rosa Junior College for 2 years, then moved on to the University of San Diego, where he represented the NCAA Division I team as the #1 player. After graduating with a Bachelor of Business Administration, Greg took up his first job as the assistant general manager at Tilden Park Golf Course in Berkeley, California. Greg's career has taken him pretty much all over the country, in such places as Princeville Resort on the island of Kauai, to country clubs in Los Angeles, to golf courses developments in Santa Rosa and Santa Barbara. But he's always returned to his home in Sonoma County, and we're fortunate to have him now taking over the responsibility of the golf course and the restaurant. So with that, would you please welcome Greg Anderson.
Great to be here. When I was with the team again last time, I was here maybe 3 years ago. I think this is all before pandemic and all that stuff. Actually, it's probably 5 or 6 years ago, because at that time I talked about golf instruction. So if I get on a tangent this time about golf instruction, just stop me. I might go there. So anyway, yeah, it's great to be back home. Where I started sort of playing my golf career more than anything. I joined in '69 when the course was first built. I was there with Lex Murray and Don Ballard and Baird Balser and all the guys. Borges came a little later, but it's sort of fun to come back home. I really feel comfortable at the club. I had been there in the early '80s, working maintenance for John Flackman, actually dated his daughter until he found out. And then I came back there, like I said, six years ago or so, until as a director of instruction. So after doing various other things, it's good to be back on board. A lot of things going on. When I first opened the door there on June 1st, July 1st, I lost 120 hours a week. 120 hours a week in the golf shop. Actually 140 hours. So we had to replace that as quickly as we could. I think as I was sitting up in the clubhouse today, and I was thinking about, at this point, here we are 6, 7 weeks into the program, I don't have to worry about golf at all. The golf course is in good shape. We've had a really nice mild summer so far, until the last couple of days. I've hired a golf pro, we've got an assistant golf pro, I've got other people who are very golf savvy. You won't recognize a lot of faces, hopefully they're getting to know your names as you're coming through quickly, but I feel really honored that I just don't have to work with golf operation, and we're restocking the golf shop. So it's all in pretty good hands. We are making some changes, so yes, I did hire a food and beverage manager that starts on Monday. I hired Don Ballard, who's been there for 45 years as the superintendent or in some capacity in maintenance, has asked to step down. He's hired. And, I do have somebody coming in tomorrow that filled out role. Don's gonna stay on with us, I hope. We have a conversation later tonight. But I intend to keep Donnie on. And then on the so that's golf course, on the golf shop, I brought in CJ Snyder, whose father was a golf pro. He's in the business of golf. His father was a golf pro at Meadow Club in San Rafael and also Colfax. And then he's also the head pro at Indian Valley. So he has golf in his genes, and we're happy to have him on board, and then some local golf pros who are my assistants. So, you know, what I'm going to do today is, because there's going to be a lot of questions, I'm going to, instead of talking so much about where we're going, what we're doing, I'm going to like to ask a lot of questions. Just sitting here, yes, I'm a local guy. It feels great to be home, and it's all about Santa Rosa. But you know, one question might be about the rates. Another question, you know, where are we at now with the am I moving too much? Where are we at now with the restaurant? You know, how am I going to staff that? You know, some answers I don't have. No, but I'll go through. You know, we met with the city last week. And we're working on budgets for 2023, the extension of this year. July was a great month. I find out that success is when you bring the revenue in and you don't pay any bills, we have a good month. August might not be as good. Like I said, golf's going well. So where we're at now with the restaurant. How many of you are on the website with the State of Bennett Valley? You know, there's like 5,000 people. How many of you saw the article that was published this morning? Okay, and so it came about some of the problems that we had when we took over. And what I don't want to do is be that person that sits here and pinpoints problems on, you know, make excuses by why. But yeah, it wasn't in great shape. So what we are doing, we're getting in, we have to the walk-in refrigerator, which is a big area where you store a lot of your goods there, it's been contaminated, and sort of just the flooring's been, so I have to redo that. And so I have to get a contractor out. The contractor has to come out and, you know, bid on it. I'm getting 3 bids, and so there's a process. And I had the Board of Health come out last Tuesday. It was great for me. Once we got on board, we had the Board of Health come out and do this check for us, and it took us 6 weeks to get it done for her to come out. And she wrote me a very detailed 4-page report. So now I have a checklist of what we have to do. But that is all beyond my staff's capabilities, so I have to bring out the contractors to do that. But the good thing is I'm very encouraged by the process so far. And I had someone walk in yesterday and give me a bid, and he said, Greg, this is a 3 to 4 day job. Okay, so once it gets completed, then I have to bring the Board of Health back out, so I have to schedule that, and then there's another week, and then hopefully, and if any of you are in the business, getting the Board of Health there in a week is pretty cool. But then they have to make their statement, and if there's other faults, we have to correct those. So that's the process. We're going to start off with a simple menu. I say simple is enough to cover it. We're going to call it Bennett Valley Grille, and it's going to be is sufficient. And probably 3 or 4 months into it, we'll probably look at rebranding the product. And at that time, I'll have everybody on board. So I have a superintendent coming on board tomorrow. I got my food and beverage director who I brought on. He's coming on Monday. So he'll be able to oversight these projects going on. So, which would be, I love that. So yeah, it's all been a lot going on in a short period of time. I'm finding that the golf course, we had a skins game out there on Sunday with a lot of good players, but one guy, Rodney Wilson, he's a local kid, he had 9 birdies and he shot 67. He had no skins. Somebody else shot 66. And so anyway, The greens must be running great, you know, so the course is in great shape. I haven't had any complaints about that. And we're starting new programs. I always told my staff, July was operations, and the next month, here we are in August, we're working on creating events. So we're working on teaching programs, group golf lessons. My head pro's got a group starting this afternoon, actually at 5 o'clock. You know, 5 people, that's what we're doing. A year-long junior golf program, you know, fundraisers for all this type of thing. And we're trying to redevelop golf in Santa Rosa. So, anyway, let's just, some hands, some questions. Yes, sir.
Greg, can you explain a little bit the relationship between Touchstone and the City of Santa Rosa and the revenue that Touchstone is generating from the club?
Okay, great question. So his question was, how's Touchstone working with the city? So Touchstone has a 3-year lease, you know, and it's, as a company, they've never had a 3-year lease not extend to 5 or 6. It's continuous. So with 1-year renewals, it's not, we're not going to be there for 3 years. You'll get real tired of us. We'll be there for a long time. So our agreement is we manage the property. So we run the whole fiscal responsibility. The bank is the city still. So when I go through and I need new appliances, I have to go through and I consult with, you know, we have a budget, we have capital improvement funds. So I go through and I look at how much do we have, and then I have to ask the city. But I do not need city approval, which is the big thing. I mean, that process would take way too long. So if I want to hire a new grill or get a new grill, if it costs me $10,000, I would definitely let them know, but they don't have to say yes or no. I need that for operations. So they are the bank, and we run it for them as a management agreement. So the whole staff is Touchstone employees. We are paid a fee per year, per month, per year. And hopefully the upside of it is we do well, so we make more money potentially. But basically we work for a flat fee. So some people ask, you know, why our is public information is $8,000 a month. It's not very exciting. But what's Bennett Valley is for us is a very key property because we saw the upside of it. You know, I grew up here. The cart paths are perfect. The course is generally good condition, and this is a key marker on their portfolio. Yes.
Is it in Touchstone's purview to utilize the capital improvement fund, or is that not in your portfolio?
That's in our hands now.
What is?
Yeah.
Okay, so
We actually, in our meeting, the city gave us a check for $175,000. Okay, so in our meeting, they thought they gave us $350,000. They had not. Yeah, oops. Forgot that. But we actually have $350,000 in capital improvement funds that we are looking to utilize in many capacities.
How much of that would you be devoting to drainage issues on 1, 2, 5?
That's more operational. I mean, we're talking about equipment and other things like that. So the bigger expense. We get in there and another hire that I had, which is fantastic. Some of you might know her, Jessica Schroeder from Bidner's Inn. She's worked there for 26 years in sales, and I brought her on as my sales team. And that might have been the best hire I've ever done in my life. I mean, she's phenomenal. So what we found out is that when we're doing our inventory of our banquet chairs, you know, for weddings and stuff that we plan on having, we only had half of what was written down there. So we need to buy that type of thing, which is, you know, another 10,000 here. Donnie needs some equipment. So, you know, there's 15,000 there. So, yes.
What's the target opening date?
I would say the middle of the month. I never say what month. I'm realistically thinking 4 to 5 weeks away. And that's only if these construction teams, everyone's busy now. I mean, that's the other thing. They can bid the job, but they can't be here. One guy said, I can bid the job, but I can't be here till the middle of September.
Go by October.
Yeah, we're not selling anything until November. I mean, as far as functions and things, we're not selling it. We have a big luncheon, in the middle of November. We're real comfortable with that. Yes, Sonia.
But the creation of a restaurant there, is that in the cards?
A restaurant as opposed to a bar and grill. We have plans on, hey, I gotta hire an executive chef. Okay, so, but we're gonna be a step of, Legends is not even in my mind anymore. Okay, what really interests me is Legends, the sports bar on Sunday football games, they make like $15,000 a day. I like that. But otherwise, we're gonna have use part of the patio that we're looking to get fully covered and have winemaker dinners and do things on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. We're gonna have a restaurant dinner.
I just heard a rumor that there was an effort to try and bring in some restaurant to work from the city or some around to create a really first-class restaurant out there. Is that in the cards?
No. Yes.
It seems to me that the city owned property, that they didn't maintain the restaurant. You kind of have this problem with refrigeration and so is the city stepping up and saying, we've got personnel to take care of this, and get you off this contractor dilemma?
I always ask, you want your staff to handle this? And the answer is universally no. It just takes too long. So I'm moving forward with getting everything done as quickly as I can. Yes, in the back.
Does the city set the rates for play on golf course?
They have in the past, of course, and they have allowed us to set the rates with it always has to be approved by the city council. So what we found out in our meeting last week was rates have not been adjusted for 5 years. Okay, and not that any other prices have changed or anything. So we are talking about a 10% increase, so the senior rate that might be, was it 31 now, might be 33, 34.
Or in the rate making process, so you're considering a rate for residents and non-residents?
We were, but we're not.
No.
We were looking at doing that one time, and for one, we don't mind being the best value in Sonoma County. It's sort of where we're going. Yes.
Any projected changes to the golf course, fairways, greens?
So structurally, not too much, but we are looking to submit a $6 million capital improvement for irrigation and drainage in 2023.
So not the layout of the course.
The layout itself, we find is pretty solid. We want to fix tees, tees are tilted and sideways, and that's again operational things, but structurally, we find the golf course layout is pretty solid. But the drainage and the irrigation system is beyond repair. Yes?
You see any changes with the leagues, what you're doing with league play?
No, we love that stuff. And when a league, it was always separated between golf and restaurant. And then, I'm from there. I see all this stuff all the time. So Bob, they get their play out, which is great. They have the afternoon play of, 40, 60 people, which is great. But then the big benefit of that is, if they pay $20 to play golf, it's not that. It's the big benefit is what happens in the restaurant after. So I love that stuff. So I don't see anything. Yes.
Great to have you here. I knew your dad and yourself out through the golf course. It's great to have the family back and doing something in Santa Rosa. The question I have is about the driving range. It's always been a problem. Your driving range is closed very early. And so as a result, they go down to the fairgrounds and start hitting. Will it be open maybe a little later for some of the business guys?
So it opens at daylight every day. You're probably talking about the winter time. When we have adverse weather and the balls plug out there, what happens is the maintenance crew historically gone out and pick up the balls by hand as a pain in the butt. What I'm actually looking to do, and I talked to my brass about my executive team, is I would love to sand cap that driving range. I mean, put sand where the balls bounce year round. But that will be considered in the drainage, because that range, any downtime on that range is just lost revenue.
Is there any chance of lights on that facility?
Well, that conversation, not likely, yeah, not likely. I mean, I'd love to have, I think top tracer technology, you watch it on TV, and you see all this hub speed and all this bullshit. I think that's the way, that'd be really cool. And McGinnis Park in Center Fell has something like that, and they make so much money, and I looked into this stuff, it might cost $1.5 million to get that thing capitalized, but your return on investment is about 3 years. And so, it's tremendous. And that's again, what you see, your speed, your ball velocity, all this stuff that, I don't say the kids like, but, people like that stuff. And so I presented at some point to my team, hey, we should look at this concept. But the whole theory is, hey, we're already throwing $6 million at the city. It's gonna be a tough sell anyway. Let's ease back a little bit.
And you're teaching there now, right?
Yeah, I'm one of 4 teachers we're gonna have.
So is there anything out there for a guy who doesn't know which end of the stick to hold?
I mean, as far as golf instruction yeah, we have.
Are the tennis courts out there for?
Oh, yeah, that's not part of that's Galvin Park, but yeah, they have
Okay.
pickleball, they have tennis, they have, there's beautiful fields out there, fishing.
A lot of the problem, I think a lot of us will agree, with Legends in its last couple, 3 years, had been the tendency to try to understaff it. There were times when we had to, when often at lunchtime, for one bartender was expected to service the entire room. I'm hoping that won't repeat itself simply because I think there was a whole lot of what should be captive audience that said, "Oh, we're going somewhere else for lunch after fall."
Right.
And
No, staffing is a problem, as we all know, in California and actually everywhere, but I put out a job announcement about 2 weeks ago for bartender server. Within 2 weeks, I had 62 applicants. And some of which might be qualified, some of which aren't. I hired back Julio. Julio is the bar manager. He was sort of mainstay, and again, I don't like taking back from what used to be, but he was outstanding as a bar manager for Legends. He knows everybody. He's my guy. And I'm glad I have him, but service is very important to us. And I was a patron, I've seen all that too, and that bothers me, but all I'm gonna say to that is we're gonna do the best we can, because I don't know what the future holds there.
it seemed to cost a lot of volume.
I think what happened with Legends, the owners were out of town. They locally managed, but the owners were far away. So, my hand, be there too often, and that's it's very important to us to make sure that goes right.
Hey, can you just explain once more about where the revenues from the restaurant, the golf course, you guys are paid a flat fee to manage the place. So where do all the revenues go? For the green fees, the restaurant revenues?
The bank. No. So no, we are a management company that's owned by the city. So all our revenues, the city see our financials, will be an open book. But yeah, the $10,000 I make per day and the sales of the golf operation right now all go to the city basically. And but my expenses, we run we have the income, the expenses. It's run like any other business. We're all tied up together. We look forward to by hiring Jessica. She asked me the other day, how many weddings do you think we'll have? And I'm sort of stupid. I said, I don't know, 12. And she goes, yeah, 30. But each wedding in Sonoma County, we're going to ask for a certain, a fee for setup, and it's going to be $50,000. So there's a lot of money ripping through there, but that's all run through Touchstone in the city. It's our bank, but it's their business. And at the end of, we'll meet, once a month. I meet with her name's Jan Santos. She's the deputy of Park and Rec. I really like being with her and talking to her, and I think she's real. We meet every other week, and we're very clear on what's going on. And she just called me, I think she read the article on Facebook, and the article on Facebook sort of backlashed the city, and, you know, that was never our intent. We're working together well. So it's basically, we're running this enterprise for the city. I don't know how else I can answer that. Oh, yes, sir.
Planning on changing the golf carts by adding GPS or?
We kept, golf carts are really hard to get right now. So we took over Bob's lease. And I think that's, until we can get some other ones. And we actually, we're getting, so we just brought in the city actually before, gosh, I think it went back in January, where they brought in, they had the money allotted to bring in 2 new lawnmowers, and they were both about 50,000 each, and green mowers. And so within that period of time between now and then, that price has gone up about 8%. So they don't have it in their budget and have to go back to council. So now we said, let's not do that. Let us cost it out, because we have, you know, we have relationships with these businesses. So we got it down to 95,000. So we're under budget. So we sort of loop that around. So with carts, if we run that through the city, it would take forever. So we took over Bob's lease. And then what we're doing, we're looking to solicit, you know, we have a relationship with Easy Go. And we'll look at getting that. And I doubt we'll have GPS, because if we did that, I'd have to really up the chart. You know, I don't mind going up by $1 with new carts, but I don't want to go up by $3 or $4. So, but yeah, we'll a little extras to them, ice chests and sand buckets. So. Well, thank you, everybody, and hope to see you.
Great, has to run.